Welcome to Dual Realm Book Review YouTube channel. This week we're going to be talking about Lightlark. I read the book Lightlark by Alex Astor, and so Andy is going to ask me some questions that a potential reader might want to know about the book. So first I'll start. I listened to this on audio, and I give it 4 stars. Definitely a YA fantasy. All right.
Okay, my first question on Lightlark is, what is the magic system like? Because, I'm picky when it comes to how people treat their magic in their books.
So the magic system is a large part of what's happening because the 6 rulers of this realm are all cursed, and so they come together every 100 years to try and break their curses. So they're all cursed differently based on their love or their magic. So the moonlings are moon beings, and so they are forced to they die at the full moon. Like the waters come up against them and like murder them on the full moon. The starlings can't live past the age of 25 because they burn out like stars. The sunlings can't be outside in the sun. The nightlings can only be out during the day. They cannot be out at night. And the wildlings eat human hearts. They can't fall in love. They can't fall in love because they have to kill whoever they love. They have to kill their lovers.
That's a little gruesome.
I know. Yeah.
Kind of the opposite of what I would think it would be.
For a wildling, I know. I'm like, how'd that come about? But anyway, it kind of, I wouldn't say it gets explained, but it makes a lot more sense by the end. So anyway, so they have the 6 rulers: moonling, starling, sunling. What did I say? Wildling.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, all the elements. Okay, so you have stars, moon, sun, sky. I always want to forget that one. And wildlings. So they all have different powers based on what realm they're from. So the ruler is obviously the most powerful in their realm, and all their people have the same magic, just at varying degrees. So it's treated very well, I think. Their magic system's pretty well thought out. Not crazy detailed, not, it's not Brandon Sanderson level
complicated.
Yeah, it's not overly complicated. Definitely fits in the YA genre, something that could easily be understood by somebody that's 12, 13, 14.
Okay. And then, so what style of fantasy would you say this kind of falls under?
Definitely not low fantasy, but it's probably closer to low than it is to mid or definitely high. It's definitely not high fantasy or epic. So I would almost put it in low fantasy because they're all humans, as far as I could tell. They're not elves. They're not fae. They're not anything special. There's no separate races. They just are born in different realms, giving them their powers. So, I put it in low fantasy.
Okay. And then you said it was YA or more new adult?
Definitely YA. It's fade to black. So even the one scene where they're kind of like heavy kissing,
it's just one, and then
they just are. It's more like, oh, I'm interested in you, and then we cuddled all night, and that's it.
Okay. Okay, so YA.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of allude to, I would do more. I would want to do more. I'd want to be with them, but it's not explicit. It's not.
Okay.
I wouldn't say it's something I would want Liam to read yet. Mm-hmm. He's not that.
He's not there yet.
No. It'd be
so
13, more like a 14. Yeah, 14, 15. Like, they obviously know what sex is by that age, so they allude to it, but it's not explicit or even on page.
My next question would be, World building. Okay, as a debut author, this is her first book, and I'm wondering, like, how does she handle the world building? It can be a difficult thing to do well, especially in the first book.
Mm-hmm. It can be. She handles it pretty well. It's not info dump style. She doesn't kind of hit you with that history lesson style thing. She kind of takes it. So you're experiencing the centennial days, is what I think they call it. So you're experiencing this game that all the rulers kind of get thrown into to break their curse with the new ruler, the main character. So it's a single point of view, and you're coming from her point of view, and she's kind of learning what's happening and how all this works and how the world kind of came about and how the curses came about all together. So she has lived a very sheltered life in her realm. And so you're kind of learning with her. So it makes sense, and it was pretty easy to digest, and again, very YA style.
Okay, and then my last question is going to be, who's the ideal reader in your opinion for this book?
I would say like your 14, 15-year-old. It's very simple, very emotionally young, I would say, because the main character is so sheltered. I think she is very representative of a new teenager kind of just going out in the world and experiencing all these things like, oh my gosh, like people aren't who they say they are necessarily. You know, there is deception out in the world. There are people who are going to lie to your face and betray you and all these things and she still is trying to like maintain her innocence through all these experiences and trying to protect her heart through all of this. So
okay, so a little bit of a coming of age kind of story.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. And then anyone you wouldn't recommend this book for?
Probably people who are into serious epic or high fantasy. There's a good bit of action, but they don't get too much into. She's like a sword expert, you know, she's into all that, but she doesn't, or she was taught how to wield a sword and all this stuff, but they don't get too much into. There's not too many action sequences. Most of it is relationship driven. Not necessarily romance, but the relationships that she's built through because they're all like you compared it when I was explaining it to you to like Hunger Games. In a way it is. So you have all these rulers trying to break their curses, but they need each other's help in order to do so.
Okay.
And so they're trying to build alliances and figure out who's telling the truth, who's doing this, who's being shady and all this stuff. So there's a lot of relationships being built, but she's just trying to, she's really bad at figuring out who's lying to her.
Okay.
So yeah, it was very interesting. I think it was a well thought out plot. I'm really interested in seeing where she goes with the next one.
Okay, so you're interested in book 2. Definitely going to keep reading?
Yep, okay. I'm definitely going to keep reading. All right. Well, like and comment, especially if you've read Lightlark, if you are interested in it, if you have different opinions than I have, comment below. Let us know what you think, and watch us next week. Thanks, guys.